my name is Andy Villalpando. I am a talent scout for Columbia Records. I got my job. I actually started off as an intern in the A&R department, and then just kind of busted my butt. Did everything they told me to do. Came in early, left late. They liked what I was bringing in, and so yeah, about after 6 months, they asked if I wanted a position, and of course, this being my dream job, I obviously took it. So. Obviously, Michael Jackson played a huge part in my life, being a little 80s kid. Really looked up to that guy. And then towards the early 90s, I was a big rap, hip-hop kid. The whole West Coast scene, I was all about it. Tupac, Dr. Dre, Snoop. And then later on, I really was into like the whole pop rock, pop punk, New Found Glory, Blink-182, that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of all over the board. I was actually in a band at the time, and we had an interest from a certain indie label, and I basically ran the day-to-day stuff for the band, and made this contact with this label owner, kept in contact with them, and then one day I just asked if there was anything available at his label, and you know, he offered me an intern position. And so I just made the move from the Bay Area down here, and kind of the rest is history. Usually I'm in charge of just listening to a crap load of music all day, every day. But I also got to do a bunch of like research stuff, keep up with the trends, kind of run over sound scans, see what's selling, basically what the kids are talking about, go out to shows, scout bands. There's certain like I like to call them taste-making websites that I kind of find very reliable, and the people that run them seem to have a pretty good ear. So there's certain websites that I keep up with, but then you know those are hit or miss all the time. So you kind of have to judge your own taste in music and kind of take those references and runs with the ones that you want to put your name behind, and you know, kind of pass on the ones that aren't really up your alley, because you really don't want to push something unless, you know, because it's going to come back to you, and you know, only push the stuff that you absolutely love and will pretty much you're willing to get fired over. You know, I get asked this question a lot. If you're an unsigned band, just bust your butt. Play as many shows as you can. Don't play the same market very often, because then you'll kind of saturate it, and that's not a good thing. But play as many shows as you can. Constantly write, and don't limit yourself when you're writing. You know, if one day you write a rock song, the next day you write like an electro song, just kind of put it in your catalog. Doesn't mean you have to fit it into that band, but the bigger your catalog, the bigger, you know, just you just become an overall solid songwriter, which is great to have. You never want to limit yourself to what you can do. And then basically, if you want this to be your career, treat it like a full-time job. I know it's really tough, but you know, say you know you want this to be your career, spend 40 hours a week doing it, whether it's practicing, writing. I know you can't really force the writing process. Also, you know, there's obviously social networking and stuff like that. Building your presence online is really, really important nowadays as well. But definitely, at the end of the day, it definitely comes down to interacting with your fans, playing shows, and writing good music. It does play a big part, and luck has a lot to do with it as well. I mean, you could be buying like beer at the grocery store and run into somebody, and you know, if you build that connection with them, you never know what can come out of it. Like with me and Richard from Drive-Thru, you know, it was kind of by chance, and I just stayed connected, and it kind of led me to the path that I went down, and here I am today, talking to amazing Kathy over here. So you never know. Just networking is a huge part of it as well. Definitely, I have to say so. Yeah. It's tough. It's really, really tough. But if you stick with it, you're patient, you're nice. No one wants to work with an asshole, or a mean person. If you want to edit that part out, no one wants to work with anybody mean. Just be nice, be courteous, reply to people in a timely manner. Watch, think before you speak. Yeah, just stick with it. I know a lot of people are frustrated with the way things are going right now, but music's never going to go away. And if it's really what you want to do, just follow your heart. And I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but do what makes you happy. With the whole internet thing now, it's hard to deny the fact that these labels are kind of dropping one by one. I just think because of everything that we're going through, it's more of like cutting the fat in a way of the labels and what's necessary and what isn't. So I think the majors are still going to be around, but it's going to be a more condensed version of what they used to be. You're not going to see the bloated paychecks, from the A&R department or whatever. But yeah, they'll be around. I have a feeling that there's going to be a pretty big indie movement coming along as well, because all these indie labels, with the whole internet thing now, can basically do a lot of the stuff that a major used to be able to do. Well, it was only limited to what a major label can do and their resources. But now with the internet, I mean, if you spend a couple hours a week interacting with your fans and just making your presence known online, that's something they used to do for you back in the day, and not necessarily what they can offer you now at this point. You can do it for free instead of signing half your royalties away, But I'm going off on a tangent, so. Yeah, I usually go out to shows like 5 or 6 times a week. Usually it's there to see somebody specific, but there are times where I'll go see a certain band, stay around for the whole bill, and I'll stumble upon somebody I had no idea was around, and they're really good, and I end up pushing them more than the band I initially went to go see. So I mean, it happens. It kind of plays into that whole luck thing. There's certain bands like Oasis where their A&R person went to go see somebody at this festival, and their assistant got the time wrong, so he just happened to be there to catch this little unsigned band called Oasis, and the rest is kind of history. Well, as a scout, I go ahead and I will play this to my supervisors and kind of circulate it around the office, kind of get a feel for just basically get their input and see what they think about the music. And if it gains any traction, they kind of run with it, and they'll play it for their supervisors, and we'll hold meetings with New York and get their take on it. And it's kind of a long process here at this record label, but that's because we're really careful about what we sign, and we want to make sure that everyone is on the team pushing this music that we love, which is pretty cool. We're not in it for the singles and the quick ringtone checks or whatever. So that's what I kind of like about Columbia. And yeah, I mean, if we like it that much, it gets passed along to our president, and if we get the green light, we go for it. And they're kind of already big, but Broken Bells is awesome. I've heard the new Adele stuff, and it is amazing. Just keep an eye out for that. Her single's going to be awesome. Adele. And then there's also, this is the hardest question for me to answer because there's so many.
Cool.
There's a couple other bands. There's a band from LA, actually. That's unsigned. They're a band from London, ended up moving to LA, and they're called Purple Melon. They're kind of starting to do their own thing around here in LA. Really into those dudes, great guys. I hope they make it. I just heard the new Script album. I thought that was really, really cool. Oh, obviously 2 AM Club. Love those guys to death. Those are my homies. 2 AM Club, definitely. If there's one artist you take out of this, it's 2 AM Club. Oh, Far East Movement. Love those guys. Awesome. Great party music. Let's see. There's a rapper called XB that just got signed to Warner Brothers. It's pretty cool.